Hello class, how are you? Hope you are fine and preparing for your first unit test, and you are also continuing with the chapters we are teaching as we are continuing with the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants. Now in this Morphology of Flowering Plants, today we will learn about the flowers or start learning about the flowers. We have already learned about the vegetative parts of the plant. Our today's topic will center around the flowers. Okay class? When you see a flower, can you imagine that it is actually a modified shoot? But it is. A flower is a modified shoot wherein the shoot apical meristem changes to floral meristem and the internodes in the shoot do not elongate and the axis gets condensed. The apex of the shoot produces different kinds of floral appendages laterally at successive nodes instead of leaves. That means where the leaves has to be appear, the floral appendages appear. When a shoot tip transforms into a flower, it is always solitary. That means it is single. So the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis is termed inflorescence. So we can define inflorescence in this way that inflorescence is the name of modified shoot that is specialized to bear flowers. The axis of the inflorescence is called peduncle and a flattened peduncle is known as receptacle. Now, depending on whether the apex gets converted into a flower or it continues to grow, two major types of inflorescence are defined. What are those? Racemose inflorescence and cymose inflorescence. What is the difference between them? In racemose inflorescence, the main axis continues to grow. The flowers are borne laterally in an acropetal succession. That means the young flowers, they just go on developing. But in case of cymose inflorescence, the main axis terminates in a flower. So you can see the difference. So in case of cymose inflorescence, the uppermost flower is the oldest one, whereas in case of racemose inflorescence, the uppermost flower is the youngest one, and the flowers in case of cymose inflorescence, they are born in a basipetal order. So I hope you got the differences. That is how the racemose inflorescence differs from cymose inflorescence. I am again repeating the terms acropetal and basipetal. So when the arrangement of flowers is acropetal means older towards base and younger towards apex, and so the reverse one is basipetal. Okay. Now about the flowers. So we have learned about the arrangement of flowers. Now what is flower? Flower is actually the reproductive unit in the angiosperms. We know that the flower is the reproductive part only. It is meant for sexual reproduction. A typical flower has 4 different kinds of holes arranged successively on the swollen end of the stalk or pedicel, which is called thalamus or receptacle. Now, what are these holes? These holes are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. calyx and corolla are actually accessory organs, while androecium and gynoecium are reproductive organs. Now, in some flowers like the lily, the calyx and corolla are not distinct and they are termed as perianth. So, when you cannot see the calyx and corolla separately, then you can say that, or they are in distinct form, then they are called perianth. Now, when a flower has both the androecium and gynoecium in the same flower, it is called bisexual. Can you name a bisexual flower? Common example is China rose, which are very common to you, and a flower having either only stamens or carpels is called unisexual. So, given or think of an example of unisexual flower. This is your task. Now, you have learnt about the symmetry when you learnt the animal kingdom. In flowers also, they have different symmetry. The flowers may be actinomorphic, that is radial symmetry, or you know about what is radial symmetry, and zygomorphic, that is bilateral symmetry. When a flower can be divided into two equal radial halves in any radial plane passing through the center, it is called actinomorphic. For example, datura. Datura flower is common, so I given the name mustard also, but when it can be divided into two similar halves only in one particular plane, then it is called zygomorphic. So, zygomorphic relates to bilateral symmetry and actinomorphic relates to radial symmetry. Zygomorphic flower is, example is pea, common example bean. Now, a flower is asymmetric if it cannot be divided into two similar halves by any vertical plane, just like the animals, and this example is canna flower. Now, what about the floral appendages or the number of floral appendages? A flower may be trimerous, tetramerous or pentamerous when the floral appendages are in the number 3. That means when it is 3, then it is trimerous, when it is 4, then it is tetramerous, and when it is 5, then it is pentamerous. Okay. Flowers with bracts or reduced leaf found at the base of the pedicel are called bracteate, and those without bract are called ebracteate flowers. So, you have learned about the different parts of flowers in a nutshell. Now, we will learn about those parts in detail, but before that, we will learn about that based on the position of calyx, corolla and androecium in respect of the ovary on thalamus, how the flowers are classified. Okay. So, based on the position of calyx, corolla and androecium in respect of the ovary on thalamus, the flowers are described as hypogynous, perigynous and epigynous flowers. So, just look at the diagrams and try to understand the difference between them. First, hypogynous flowers. In hypogynous flowers, as in the diagram A, you can see that the gynoecium is occupying the highest position. What is the gynoecium? That is the ovary style stigma, and then while the other parts are situated below it, and the ovary in such flowers is said to be superior. For example, very common flower, China rose. So, just take a China rose flower, dissect it and just find out, separate the other parts and find out. Next is the example of perigynous. Here the gynoecium is situated in the center and the other parts of the flower are located on the rim of the thalamus. It is almost at the same level. In the previous hypogynous, they were below it, but now they are in the same level. So, it is called perigynous, and the ovary here is said to be half inferior. This type of flowers are common example is rose, plum, peach. And the last group, the epigynous flowers. The margin of the thalamus grows upward, enclosing the ovary completely, as you are finding in the diagram D, and getting fused with it. The other parts of the flowers arise above the ovary. Hence, the ovary is said to be inferior, as in flowers of guava and cucumber, and the ray flores of sunflower. So, these are the different types of flowers or different are they classified as on the basis of position of the floral parts or thalamus. Okay. So next we will learn about the parts of flower. So what about the parts of a flower? Now each flower normally has 4 floral holes. What are those? Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Calyx is actually the outermost hole of the flower. You find if you take just a China rose flower in your hand, you can see it very distinctly. And it is my request to you students to please do it. If we were in the classroom, I would have shown you this part separately, but for the time being you have to do it yourself, please. And the members of the calyx are called sepals. Generally sepals are green, leaf-like, and what is their function? They protect the flower in the bud stage. Now sometimes the sepals are not green and they are having color other than green, and then they are called petaloid. Now the calyx may be gamosepalous, that means sepals are united, or maybe polysepalous, that means sepals are free. Oh, what about the corolla? Next part of the flower, and it is the most attractive part of the flower. Corolla is composed of petals. Petals are usually brightly colored white to attract the insects for pollination. Now like calyx, corolla may be also united, that means the petals may be united or may be free. When they are united, they are called the gamopetalous, and when they are free, they are called polypetalous. And the color of the corolla vary greatly in plants that you have seen in many plants. The color of the corolla, they are white to yellow, green, red, or multicolored flowers are blue. And the corolla may be tubular in shape or funnel shaped. Can you think of a tubular shaped corolla? Yes, it is a datura plant. Datura flowers, the corolla are tubular in shape, or sometimes they may be wheel shaped. So just visit the garden of yours, and not only yours, the neighborhood also, and find out the different types of corolla. And here are the parts of flower: the complete flower, and the calyx, corolla, and the androecium is shown. But we will learn about the androecium a bit later. Now you will learn about the mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in a flower, but with respect to the other members of the same whole. And these main arrangement, or the mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in floral bud is called estivation. So what is estivation? You have learned, I told you. Now the main types of estivations are valvate, twisted and vexillary. When sepals or petals in a whole they are just touch each other, one another at the margin, then they are called the valvate estivation. And without overlapping, that is called as in calotropis. And if one margin of the appendage, that means the sepals, overlaps that of the next one, and so on, as in China rose or lady's finger and cotton, it is called the twisted. So for our better understanding, we just see the diagrams. Okay, so first one is valvate. What is valvate? What I told, that when the sepals or petals in a hole just touch one another at the margin. You are seeing that they are touching one another. Now what is told in the twisted, in one margin of the sepals or petals overlaps that of the next one, and so on. You are seeing that one margin is overlapping the other, and the other is overlapping the next one's one margin. In this way it is going on. This is very common in China rose. So as I told you, again and again I am giving the example of China rose, and hope the flower is with you now. Now the next one, that is the imbricate. So what is imbricate? Just observe very carefully. And what is the mode? There is a C. If the margins of sepals or petals overlap one another but not in a particular direction, then it is called the imbricate estivation. Okay, is found in the flowers like cassia and gulmohur. In pea and bean flowers, we find different types of estivation. There are normally 5 petals. The largest one you can see is overlapping 2 lateral petals. The largest one is known as standard, and the 2 lateral petals which is overlapping, they are known as the wings, and the wings in turn are overlapping the smallest 2 anterior petals. You can see from here, and these are the keel, and this type of estivation is known as vexillary or papilionaceous estivation. Okay, so learn the topic and also practice the diagrams of flowers and different types of estivations, and practice it, and also learn the examples given for the different types of estivations. Okay class, next day we will start with the androecium, gynoecium and the other parts of the flower.